country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepping to the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. I feel it. Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. God has. I want to scream, y'all. I want to scream, y'all. God has smiled on me. He has set me free.
I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talent in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me with other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones. And too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others, the way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself. It's Thursday, October the 2nd. Do you know what time it is? It's Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. And good morning to my and our West Coast listeners, and welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. For the next 3 hours, you can call in and join the conversation, this unique national conversation heard in every state, every region of the country, because we want to hear what you have to say about what's going on and what's not going on. Your thoughts, your commentaries, and of course, you can agree or disagree with me. That's why we call it Keeping It Real. If you know why you have your position, I'll know why I have mine. We can talk about it. And one of the things I try to say to people wherever I go, we can disagree without being disagreeable. You know, I can handle people saying, "Well, Mal, I disagree with you, and here's the reasons." But when you got to get ugly and get in the name calling and all of that, that's when, that all that ain't necessary. I ain't mad at nobody personally. I just don't agree with people all the time. But if you got to stoop so low as that, then you got other kind of issues that you need to deal with. So I welcome disagreement. And sometimes you make a point and I say, I didn't think about it that way. But when you got to call and get in ugly and all that, then, it's bye-bye time. Or you can go to the message board and you can send a message, and I try to read as many as I can already. Darius Miller says, "Good afternoon, Reverend Al Sharpton. God bless you." James Thomas saying, "Good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton, and everyone in the chat room." Matty Johnson is saying, "Good afternoon, everyone." Mayor Rodney Jones, mayor of the Queensbridge Houses in New York, saying like and share. And Joanne Hopkins said, "Good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton. Blessings to you today. I need all the blessings I can get." Joanne, thank you for that. And let me say there's a lot going on, and I want to get to all of it. And I want your feedback on all of it. One of the things that I was seeing with this whole inflationary economy, and now with the shutdown that's going to put thousands of workers, federal workers, on furlough, and they're talking about firing some. And then you look at the fact that beef prices, just beef now, I'm not going across the board, there's groceries up everywhere, but just beef has gone up 12.89%, ground beef, because of the drought that is in the areas that have taken, that deal with a lot of the cattle. You've got a decrease in the amount of cattle that is surviving because of the drought. They can't drink the water. I think 16 percent has gone up with steak. So you got that. You have inflation. You have, on a global level, even the Pope has taken a position of saying that, it is not. He didn't call Trump's name, but he said he referred to what's going on in the United States in terms of migrants. And you can't be Christian and deal with people in that inhumane way. I'm paraphrasing him, but the Pope said it. Then you've got a freeze on on $16 billion. Trump just did on New York, on two projects in New York, the commuter train and under the Hudson. He's frozen that. Commuter train under the Hudson and the 2nd Avenue subway. Both of them were approved. Both of them were budgeted. He had $16 billion. He's freezing that because he says that they're using DEI, and that's against the law, his interpretation of the civil rights law. So let's say it in plain English. Because they made agreements that some of us were part of, some of us being civil rights groups like NAN, they made agreements that in order for us to support it and not question it, they would hire and they would promote the hiring of a certain amount of blacks, other people of color, and women. Now he's freezing the funds. I mean, this is as bigoted as you can get. Not only is he saying you cannot have DEI as you go forward, he's saying even the money that has already been appropriated, because I think you're hiring blacks and others, I'm freezing the money. I hope some of my Trump supporters call me and explain this to me. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. Day before yesterday, he stood up in front of the generals in the military and said that we're going back to a merit society. So he's not saying that these various companies that are dealing with Second Avenue subway or the transit under the Hudson, that they have to prove their merit. He's not even giving them a chance to prove their merit. It's just no merit. DI mean black folks, other folks, no merit. So it's not a merit society. It's a white society. White male at that. Connie Spoon is saying on our message pad, he is destroying America instead of making America great. We must vote this guy out of office, so go register and vote. God bless America. I couldn't agree with you more, Connie. The Democracy.Fund, my main man, is saying hello, real keepers. I like that, real keepers. Great to be amidst the overwhelming, wise, and righteous community. Great to have you among us and with us. Glad to have you with us. And James Thomas is saying black men who voted for the Trump swagger just fell for the okie doke. Yeah, they fell and fell hard. The other problem is that we all have to suffer with them. Now, on top of top of the inflation, top of beef going up, top of him freezing $16 billion from 2 projects in New York, you got the police now being undermined by him putting federal troops in cities across the country. And in many ways, the actions have been called illegal already. He's doing it anyway. And he's using his Justice Department to really carry out this vengeance against certain mayors, certain governors, certain cities. And then, of course, I don't have to tell you the whole shutdown. Layoffs are imminent. In the first few days, we went through this when he was there before. The immediate impact is that military and federal pay are on hold. National parks only partially open. The WIC nutrition program could run out of money within a week or two if the government doesn't reopen. The stalemate seems to be deepening. Coverage continues, but expect disruptions in Medicare, Medicaid, and ACA plans. They keep running through the shutdown, covering 167 million people. However, Medicare's pandemic-era telehealth expansion expired Tuesday, reverting mostly to pre-COVID rural limits. ACA subsidies at risk, all of this, because he wants to overthrow or undo Obamacare. And this is about as serious as it can get. So let's talk about all of this and more, because I think that on top of this, I ain't even got to the global stuff of what's going on in Gaza. They've not come back on this ceasefire agreement, and that he and Netanyahu threw out there, which was giving Netanyahu all he wanted. Now Russia is warning to Trump on the Tomahawks for Ukraine. They have Tomahawks under review, and saying that they may sell Zelensky or give Zelensky some Tomahawks, the United States. And Putin is saying, well, there will be an appropriate response. What that mean? I come out of Brownsville, Brooklyn, sound like a threat to me. I ain't trying to start nothing, but it sound like a little wolf ticket going on from Vladimir Putin. I thought that was your boy, Mr. Trump. He says an appropriate response. So let's talk about all of this. I want you to weigh in on any of this or all of this. All you have to do is call me at 1-877-5 532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or go on the message board at live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
Reverend, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you. Sorry to hold you up.
No, not at all. I really appreciate your time.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes.
There's a, I don't know if you will remember this, but you came to Parliament in London with Lord Woolley, Simon Woolley.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you had a round table.
Oh, yeah. And you were in that?
I was, because before I became deputy mayor, I used to be a councilman. I was a city councilman, but I also helped found the biggest voter registration organisation in the whole of Europe.
Really?
Yeah, so last year we registered, and we worked together with Simon, 488,000 young people in just 6 weeks. So,
wow.
Well, I learned a lot from you.
So did they turn out?
They did. Yeah, they turned out. But my worry is given like the state of politics in the UK right now, is their expectation of what a government could deliver is up here. The reality is somewhere here, and the performance is somewhere here.
Yeah.
And now it's like the next election, I guess similar to what you experienced between 2020 and 2024. In the next election, my worry is a lot of those people who we had to convince to vote, they feel let down because they had a big appetite for change, and it hasn't really delivered in that same way. So
that's a very bad. The excitement is great, but when you start getting that coming down, some of them you lose for a long time, if not forever. And but I guess the challenge is how you excite people without over promising, and it's a problem. It's a problem all over the Western world. And I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach Black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes Blacks. We want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight with the courts and the streets, because they're literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunity, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, which they did, started in Harvard with a Black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in an Ivy League school like Harvard. It didn't start in Little Rock at the high school. This fight, this time, was Harvard. And they went from there on. And I think that we've got to have the same resistance. If they could fight in the 50s, it ain't some people who put them together and deal with the question from Little Rock in terms of desegregation, then we that are far more educated, far more economically secure personally, have no excuse in the age of what they did in Harvard not to be standing up back in the sun. Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go back to the phone. Attorney Jennifer Jones-Austin is. Every day, Monday through Friday, I do 3 hours a day on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. I do 1 hour on Sunday mornings with Reverend Al Sharpton. And I'm live on radio and TV with the Saturday Action Rally. 7 days a week, I talk to our people, hear from them, to call in. I'm sick and tired of people talking for people that they don't talk to. So go on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Listen to my show, call in, express your opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But let's start talking to each other rather than about each other and lecturing at each other. Let's keep it real with Sharpton.
So it's become almost an unhealthy habit how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be online or whether it be on the radio or wherever it's coming into you from, because there's no one of Rev's importance and caliber who is as dominant a media figure as he is, who allows people to speak at length, and who he treats with equal respect and admiration with every call, whether he agrees with you or not. And I'm not gonna throw shade at anybody, but there are a lot of people with big platforms like the Rev has who are afraid to talk to the people and who are afraid that the people will keep it real with them. And he never shies away from anything any of us want to talk to him about. And he doesn't shut you up. It's not a soundbite, it's a conversation. So I would like people in media to learn from this man who is carrying MLK's torch. Don't be afraid of people. Listen to them, respect them, and stand in God and stand in truth. Thank you, Nan. Thank you, Rev. Thank you, everybody who puts this together and sends it out across the world, because we need much more of it. Bless you.
Many people cannot focus because they have not really come to terms with their calling and life purpose. In order to focus, you must also be clear on what you're focusing on. So if you're not clear on your purpose, if you're not clear on your life's calling, then focus on seeking that. Because if you just read the ways and roads you traveled that you didn't even choose, that were sort of just laid out for you by God, in that it's telling you, speaking to you about what your purpose is and what you were born to do and be. I learned the things that I didn't plan had to be planned by God, and God's plan was directed toward God's purpose in my life. And I focus on that. Not focus on what others do, not focus on how well they're doing or bad they're doing, but focus on whether I'm in line and aligned with what I'm supposed to be about. And in order to move straight ahead, you have to be focused on the path you're running on.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, twitter.com, the Rev Al, or go to the message board, and you can go to scheduling, go to message board and go to live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. And you can go to live stream nationalactionnetwork.net and go on the message board. Trisha's there saying I was near Whole Foods, but I didn't get a chance to go in and check their prices, or I would have been late getting back home. Yeah, you're right. Those prices, though, when you check them, Trisha, is stunning. Stunning. Let me say by way of announcements, don't forget Saturday and Sunday, and Thursday, I'm all over the phones booking people that are in the middle of this government shutout, senators and members of Congress. I will have them on. I also will have on some governors where they've sent in the military. I will have people in the thick of what is going on, and I'll be asking the right questions. Don't miss it, and tell your relatives and friends. Just say to them, try it. Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, every Saturday and Sunday, including this Saturday and Sunday, at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And then, of course, you that are in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, you can and should meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally in Harlem at the House of Justice, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem at 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the House of Justice. And you that are not in the New York area, you can watch it live on Impact Television or at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And, of course, all of you know that by now you should, I won't say all of you, but our listeners should know that have been listening every day, that we are excited about the Triumph Awards. That's Monday night at the Lincoln Center. It's always a huge event. It's a cultural event that it salutes those giants in culture that has made a difference. It's National Action Network's Cultural Awards. And it will be this coming Monday, October 6th at 6:30 p.m. at Lincoln Center. It's free, but you have to get a ticket in advance. In order to get a ticket, you have to go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can call the toll-free number at 1-877-626-4651. And we're honoring that night, that evening, Babyface, Kenneth Babyface Edmonds. We're honoring the great Stephanie Mills. We're honoring Ari Melba, who hosts The Beat. She's done a great job with mixing hip-hop and news. We're honoring Chesley Maddox Dorsey, who has kept black ownership of the Black News Network, and gospel great Vincent Bohannon. Those are our 5 honorees, and of course, we celebrate my birthday. My birthday's tomorrow, but we're going to celebrate it at the Triumph Awards on Monday night. It's free. There'll be no tickets at the door, no free admission at the door. You only let in with one of the tickets, so you got to register to get it. We were at capacity last night, and I think I extended 50 more tickets, so you better do it real fast, because once those 50 go, we just won't have no seats. And it's a big place, Lincoln Center, hundreds of seats, and I want you to be there. All right, let's get ready to go to the phones.
1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, twitter.com, The Rev Al. Let's start with Walter in Washington, D.C. Walter.
Hello?
Yes, Walter, you're on the air.
Hey, good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing great, sir. I'm calling to weigh in on DEI issue and the government shutdown. But first, as you mentioned, tomorrow is a very important and special day, and I want to wish you a happy birthday, and may you have many more in Jesus' name.
I appreciate that.
No problem, sir. I haven't listened to your show since 2017, mostly on the replay here on Radio 1's WOL. I have called in every once in a while to give my perspective on the topics you present. Even though you and I had several heated arguments over certain topics that unintendedly went in the wrong direction, so much to the point that on two very separate occasions, I was erroneously labeled a Trump supporter and a Republican, I just wanted to say to you that I have the utmost respect for you, and I thank you for all that you have done and try to do for black people. But for the record, I am a Bill Clinton-era Democrat, which means that the Democratic Party of the 1990s, a.k.a. the Bill Clinton era, is not the Democratic Party of today. Everything's completely different, and in most cases, different in a bad way. Well, I have taken up too much of your time, Rev.
But let me say this, Walter. It's interesting that you said that. Abby Phillips, who has the show on CNN, is coming out in about 2 weeks with a book on Reverend Jesse Jackson's run for president in 84 and 88. And as most of you know, Reverend Jackson was my main mentor. And she talks about the Clinton era in there. And, I was one of them that called myself more progressive than Clinton. But the more that I saw politics and the more I've learned, I've gained a lot more respect for Bill Clinton and Hillary. I talk to them often. So in the atmosphere we're in now, Bill Clinton looks much differently. But I appreciate your call, and I appreciate your birthday wishes, and I appreciate your sentiment. And I also appreciate you that we need to have some healthy debate on which way this Democratic Party is going. Everybody talking about a Republican. But it's all over the place. It's undefined, which is dangerous. But thank you for your call. Let's get ready to take a break. 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back. Oh, do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh, my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited. And you should be excited to turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you. And if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live. 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9. And we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized.
I want to ask you a question, and that is, what is in your life's blueprint? This is the most important and crucial period of your lives, for what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go. And whenever a building is constructed, you usually have an architect who draws a blueprint. And that blueprint serves as the pattern, as the guide, as the model for those who are to build the building. And a building is not well erected without a good, sound, and solid blueprint. Now, each of you is in the process of building the structure of your lives. And the question is whether you have a proper, a solid, and a sound blueprint. And I want to suggest some of the things that should be in your life's blueprint. Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate significance.
So we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We were go. Yeah, we was here.
They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses. Sir, it's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you been?
Doing fine. Good. Right, last time. And we,
Alexander Sharpton. Keeping it real, I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. And let's go to Annette in New York. Annette.
Hi, Reverend.
Yes.
Yes, this is Annette.
Okay. Yeah, we on the air.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Reverend, I was listening to you, and I understood that you have more tickets for the concert at Lincoln Center. I want to know, how do I go about getting one?
Go to
If there's
www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can call the toll-free number 646-380-2000.
Okay.
All right, call them. Or call the toll-free number. It's easier. Call the toll-free number 1-877
Okay, wait a minute. 1-877.
626 4651, and tell them you just talked to me on the air and that you want to get a ticket and come. It's free.
Oh,
But you got to get your
thanks.
ticket now, and you got to go pick your ticket up because they're not letting tickets at the door.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you for calling. Let's go to my man Disco Brian, who is he's on our reel now, and what he does online is extra special. Disco Brian.
Rev, my lord, that's I am not worthy of your respect at that level. So I mean, no one really is. So it's an astonishing blessing to be here on a program that is hosted by man, not only James Brown, but Mahalia Jackson and Aretha anointed. So like, it's again, I could spend all day praising you from a place of sincerity, and not from anything else. What you do here is sacred and not to be toyed with. So thank you. I cannot wait to celebrate your birthday at the Triumph Awards Monday night, Rev.
Well,
and today, my birthday.
It's
fallen on Yom. Yes, sir. It's fallen on Yom Kippur.
Happy birthday and happy Yom Kippur to all of our Jewish listeners.
Absolutely. Yep. I'll be celebrating it with my wife's family. Her family's Jewish, so that feels strangely biblical, Rev. So it's an honor to be on Keeping It Real on this day.
Day of Atonement.
Rev, hey, I need to atone and plan to. But Rev, the world needs a lot of atonement right now, as you continually bring up righteously and poetically and prophetically. My observation is this: Putin, Xi, Netanyahu, the Ayatollah, Kim Jong-un, Maduro, Erdogan, the Saudis, and Trump all have the same agenda, Rev. Do you agree with that?
Give me the names again.
Putin,
Yeah.
Xi,
Yeah.
Netanyahu,
Yeah.
the Ayatollah, Kim Jong-un, Maduro in Venezuela, Erdogan in Turkey, the Saudi royal family, and Trump all have the same agenda.
I think that they definitely have places that they cross-section and that they absolutely share certain common agendas. There can be those that would argue some of the specifics may change from time to time, but I think their general worldview is frighteningly similar.
There you go. I would say it's religious nationalism, patriarchy, terror, brutality, hatred, ignorance, bigotry, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, and denialism. That's what
they all agree on that. They all agree on that.
Thank you, Rev. And what I hope for all of us to do as Americans is that we come together and try find a time when we can stop being tribalist in our geopolitical lens. And what I mean by that, Rev, is that ever since the extremist Kahanist Israeli right assassinated Yitzhak Rabin, who, as you know, was the last prime minister in Israel who genuinely wanted peace with Palestinians, millions of Israelis have been opposing the far-right takeover of the Knesset. And the way that you know this is that when you read Haaretz or the Jerusalem Post or the Times of Israel, any of the regular, major newspapers out of Israel, those op-eds are not, they're very anti-Netanyahu. They were very opposed to Sharon. But Israel has what Russia has and what we have, right, Rev? They have a 24/7 Murdoch, Russian state media-oriented propaganda machine that pummels people into fearing everything outside of their borders. And Rev, some of that fear is legit, I think, because something that we don't do, something that the pro-Palestine American protest movement seems to never take notice of, is all those millions of Israelis who've been opposing the Netanyahu Kahanist far-right Israeli agenda for 20 years. And which is why these pro-Palestinian American protest movement people, many of them are finding common ground now with Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and David Duke, who hate Israel as a concept in the traditional Nazi sense of anti-Semitism.
Right. Yeah,
so, Rev,
they do not hate Israel for imperialist
there you go.
advocacy that Netanyahu may do, because there's majority of Israelis is not there. But they just didn't want the state of Israel at all. You're correct.
And Rev, their tribalism, right, is as entrenched as Michael Rappaport's and Barry Weiss's and Jerry Seinfeld's, and even, let's just call it a spade. I mean, you don't have to because you have to have a relationship with them, but I think that the current leader of ADL, the Jonathan Greenblatt, I think he has that pro-Israel tribalism as well. And so to quote the last poets, Rev, this is madness. Mamdani continues, unfortunately, to cheer on those Palestinian protesters who are heckling Harris and Obama today because, Rev, no one has yet been able to hold him accountable for his embrace of the anti-Biden-Harris uncommitted movement, which is tied to Code Pink and Jill Stein and Cornel West, and his refusal to endorse Harris last year, or for the fact that he's doubled down on the DSA left Hassan Piker and the accusation that Harris and Biden were responsible for a genocide. Because whether it's a genocide or not now is not the issue concerning Biden-Harris. They were not and are not responsible for Netanyahu's war crimes any more than Iran and Russia, who fund and weaponize the Houthis and Hezbollah and Hamas, are directly responsible for the crimes those groups carry out. So, Rev, in conclusion, what I want for my birthday, and I know it's probably a long shot, I sure would love it if Mamdani had the courage to sit down with you for more time than what MSNBC or your stage at the House of Justice allows, because some of the major podcasters these days, Rev, the really influential evil ones like Rogan and Theo Vaughn, those are 3 hours long sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's about how long I'd like to see you and Mamdani discuss some of the issues you and I have discussed about the far left.
I think that's something that I'm open to asking them to do. They're always in and out, and I think he and all of them are coming Monday to the Triumph. Well, I'm gonna ask him would he do at least a couple hours sit down. Let me see if we can do that and open up the phones. Let people ask questions. And let me say this:
there you go, Rev.
I have not endorsed anybody yet. I do like some of what Mamdani is saying, but I do think you have a legitimate issue with saying that they campaigned actively about telling people don't vote for Biden and then don't vote for Harris last year. That's a legitimate issue. And I went all over this country dealing with the right to vote while people were saying don't vote. Others were saying let's bring in Kamala, and they were saying don't vote. And I think that's a legitimate issue that has to be addressed, because we always, every day, all day, and rightfully so, talk about what Trump is doing, he wouldn't have got a chance to do all of that if more people had voted for Kamala Harris. It's just that simple. So our non-voting elected Donald Trump. And I think that that cannot be in any way, shape, or form forgotten. So I appreciate that call. I'm going to look for you Monday night, by the way, Brian. Thank you for your call, and happy, happy, happy birthday. Glad to have you in our Justice family. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Be right back.
We have a young man in the studio who I think is an astounding young brother because of his youth. He's only 19 years old, and he's accomplished a lot, and he's here to make a presentation to James Brown, and we'd like to welcome him warmly. His name is Al Sharpton. How about it for Al Sharpton? Al is the national director of the National Youth Movement Incorporated. Right, Al?
That's right.
And what do we have here?
Well, we come to break tradition. We know that in the recording industry that they give a gold record to those that achieve a million seller. But we view your million seller payback as a black record because it is relevant and says many of the things that young blacks have tried to say and could not musically express in our own little way. And we feel the payback is sort of like the theme song of Young Black America in 1974. Yeah.
Now, before you go into the title tune of your latest album, you have a special guest.
Yeah, I do have a special guest, a young lady.
That's going to perform with you?
Yeah, she's going to.
Joining James Brown, Muhammad Ali, and myself now from New York City is the Reverend Al Sharpton. And Mr. Brown, James, I'd like to ask you about this young man, how you came to meet him, and what the National Youth Movement, which he represents, is all about. Tell me something about that.
It's about teaching young kids the right way to go, and the things to be involved in education. Don't be a dropout, which is one thing I'm very much behind. Unless kids have guidance, they have no place to go. And the idea is to try to mold them. I mean, we think of anything, we think of it as a baby. And what we mold them to be is what it will be later on. He used to stand at my back door, and he believed in what I said, the Don't Be a Dropout program, and the fact of helping kids and giving them the right idol and the right image to go with, cleaning, grooming, and wanting to work, wanting to be something. I started as a kid, a juvenile delinquent, and everything. Had no model. And I was able to be a model for a young man like this. And what he turned out to be, he's a minister, and he preaches the right thing, and I'm for him 1,000%. I'm for everything he's about.
Mr. Sharpton, how national right now is the National Youth Movement? Is it something new? Has it been going on for a while? Do you have a stated number of members? Tell me something about it.
Well, we don't really get into a numbers game because that's been a trick that has been played for the last 20 years. What we're basically interested in doing is saying to young people of impoverished backgrounds that there are people like a Muhammad Ali and a James Brown that represents hope to us. Because these people, despite all of the social odds, despite the unemployment statistics, despite the lack of education in their day, were able to grow and be something that we can be proud of. A man like me didn't have a father at home, but I had a James Brown to look up to and would want to sing and dance like him, or Muhammad Ali, who I saw stand up and give away millions of dollars of stamps to the government so that I would have a right to come 10 or 20 years later and try to fight for my kids. So what we're saying is there are symbols and images that kids can look up to and not have to throw a brick through a window, but that can work by the sweat of their brow and succeed just like these two gentlemen did.
But considering the numbers of young kids today, and Rev, there are hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of kids who really are in hopeless and desperate situations, is it enough to just offer them an example?
You say hopeless, though. Not hopeless.
Well, let's say, well, to them, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids,
it's never hopeless. There's no such thing as hopeless. It's never hopeless. When I got 8 to 16 years for breaking and entering as a kid because I was hungry, and here I am today, it's not hopeless. Just don't say hopeless. Then we're carving out. I don't believe in hopeless. Don't you think it's hope? If you believe in something, it's right. No such hopeless. I don't believe in hopeless. We're not going to go with that. And I think he's not about teaching them how to get out and fight for themselves. That's what it's about. No, it's not hopeless. Everybody has a cause and everything, but everybody want to live. And I think living is what we're about. We're not going to teach dying. Hopeless is dying.
I agree with you 100%, James. What I'm trying to ask here is simply saying you too can be a James Brown or a Muhammad Ali. Is that enough to give a kid who's hungry, who doesn't know where his next meal is coming?
I'll say it.
Give him somewhere to go.
I think it's awful weak to tell a kid you can be a James Brown, one of the greatest entertainers in the world, and me, one of the greatest fighters. And like you said, the hundreds of thousands of millions of kids that need a break. You can't have that many great people, but they can get educated. They can go to school. They can learn. I'd like to say one thing. We have crime today. It's a big problem. I think they took a national vote on what the people want the government to spend most of the money on, and crime was over national defense. Worrying about Russia, China, outside enemies, they're worrying about inside crime. We have crime today, all type prostitution, murder, exploitation, degradation, and wars of all kinds. And I'm going to tell you why everything's happening. And I think if you're intelligent, you agree with it. If we were riding an airplane and the two pilots died for some reason, is there anybody in this room that can go in the cockpit, pick up the radio, start working it, bring the plane in, depressurize it as it land, and make it and late at night on a stormy day? You couldn't do it.
Right.
Well, but if you learn how to fly, or if they show you how to fly, you can. Since God made the world and God made us, He sent the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, sent Moses, Jesus, Noah, to show us how to run the world. And God left His laws. If we don't follow His laws, then we crash.
Let me say this, though, Mr. Snyder, in response to your question to Mr. Brown, Mr. Ali. Yes, it is enough to begin with showing them an example, because before you get to education, you need motivation. If you don't have motivation to get out of the bed, you won't make school or the party. And what we try to do by showing a James Brown or Muhammad Ali is not that you can be a great champion maybe like Ali or a great entertainer like James Brown, but if you use the same initiative that they did to make him get up 5 in the morning and run 10 miles and just have a dream and to come back 3 times and accomplish that dream, to have more hits than anybody in the world, even when the music world wouldn't give him credit for it in terms of a James Brown. If you had that initiative to keep working at whatever it is that you're going to do, you can succeed. And what we're saying to them is you may not reach the plateau of public prominence of them, but if you can reach the personal discipline and personal motivation of them, you can reach a plateau in your life. Because it's not about looking for a government handout, it's about looking for a way out, as James Brown said.
All right, and then how receptive are the young people that you tell this to?
Very receptive.
Really?
Very receptive. Very receptive. I think that people have misunderstood that most people of impoverished and depressed areas are not looking for the government to give them something. They just want a chance. I remember when I was a little boy, James Brown used to sing, I don't want nobody to give me nothing, just open the door, I'll get it myself. Well, that's all people want now is a chance. Let me get a piece of the action. Let me get a piece of the pie. Let me stand up on my own.
All right. At one
man should have the major corporations, the government, should get behind him and push the programs that he's about.
Except maybe if he does it himself and gets grassroots support, it's better than having the government stick their nose in because they have a way sometimes.
We're not talking about control.
Yeah.
We're not talking about control. We're talking about a way of start. You know, they have to start. If they fund Chrysler and fund all the different other things, they can fund a small man to get started. Then the private sector will join in. But let them help too. It should be.
Last thing. Somewhere along the line here tonight, we used a graphic saying long, hot summer. Are you in any way, I'm certain you're not predicting a long, hot summer. You're not predicting urban strife. You're not predicting disorder, anything like that.
Well, what I'm saying is, you know, at home you have an oven. There are flames on top of the oven, and then there's heat in the oven. We always discuss whether there'll be a flame on the top and don't discuss it. It's already 600 degrees inside. I'm not concerned as much about a long, hot summer because it's been a long, hot winter. Yeah. People are unemployed.
Okay.
People are unemployed. People are getting their homes ripped off. Parents' pocketbooks being snatched. As Ali said, crime is at a highest rate it's ever been. So rather than us running around the streets looking for a brick, we should be looking at the fact the brick is already in most people's houses. How do we get the brick out of the house? How do we cool the long oven out? Let's not wait for the explosion and then just cut the flames off upstairs. Let's put the flame out inside. And the only way to do that is everybody to get up and work by the sweat of their brow in America and try to produce, be productive like these two gentlemen have been in their life against all odds. They came up in a world that was alien to them, and they made it. And we can make it if we have the same initiative they did.
Mr. Sharpton, it's been a pleasure to have you here tonight, and I've enjoyed meeting you very much.
Thank
you
you
for coming
much.
by, and thank you, James Brown, for being with us again. Kent, thank you for being here tonight.
Rights leader,
the Attorney General of Black America, Ben Crump.
Commitment to justice.
And I'm probably going to need your help on this legal fight. You know, they shorted the historically black colleges and universities to the tune of about $13 billion, and Tennessee State was the one they shorted the most.
Absolutely. Well, let me know. I'm on the next plane as soon as you holler. You know, when Ben Crump called, I don't even question it. I just head to the airport and get the details on the way.
Live from the National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. Keeping it real. And now, America's #1 civil rights leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
You're live. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. Angela Golden is writing on the message page. These federal workers, they got families to take care too, and this hurts them being out of work like this. The same right. I'm praying for these workers to the God who bless them and financially take care of them through this difficult time. And I'm with you, Angela. This is just not fair. And I thank you for that. Patricia Davis Summers says, thank you, Reverend Sharpton. I've never seen the interview that included Muhammad Ali, James Brown, and yourself. Yet I was 26, 27 years old, and James Brown and Muhammad Ali brought me on the Tom Snyder Show. It used to be a late-night show like Jimmy Kimmel is now and Stephen Colbert, and said that they wanted to introduce me to the nation. Now, that James Brown had me do a little pep talk on Soul Train before that, but that was probably the first national acclaimed interview I did. This was around 1981, 82. And to have two of the most historic figures in history bring me out, I wanted to always live up to their expectations. I'd already been Jesse Jackson's youth director in New York, but to have them do that was awesome. And this week, our media department, JT, came up with some of the old footage throughout my life, getting ready for my birthday tomorrow. And this was probably the first national sit-down interview where you had two, superstars doesn't even describe Ali and James Brown. So it is personal to me, but it's historic in its own sense to have them two together doing an interview about anything. Let's go back to the phones. Let me go to my Ace Boone Coon in Chicago, Illinois, on the west side. He says it is the best side. Brother Frank. Frank, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
How you doing, Brother Down?
All right. How are you?
And I'm doing all right too, brother. And happy birthday coming, brother. Many, many more for you, so we definitely need you, bro.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Speaking of Chicago, everyone knows in Illinois. Reverend, now, when was the last time you had our Mayor J.B. Crisco on Politics Nation?
It's been a while. I've had the mayor on about 2 months ago, but we need to have Governor Pritzker on.
Yes, sir, because he's loud and clear, Reverend, now, and I think the whole nation need to hear what he's been saying, and he's not sugarcoating nothing. He's pointing out that something mentally is wrong with Donald Trump. He said Donald Trump is suffering from a form of dementia, and we need to take a serious consideration in regards to Article 25 with Donald Trump. I think that need to be broadcast because these other stations, are not they're afraid of Donald Trump. They're not going to speak out loud against Donald Trump if they speak out at all. Okay, Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor J.P. Pritzker, right now, they are very bold. Donald Trump is trying to come here full force. ICE is here. You know that already. He's going to bring the military here. All the Republicans do, like they're doing DEI, when they want to destroy something, they put out a lie on it and give it a black eye, and then they attack and destroy it. What they're doing with New York and the funds with New York, and they already giving DEI a black eye. Same way they did socialism. So a socialist country, people, is a country, which I'm pretty sure a lot of us know already, is a country like Switzerland. Okay, Switzerland has social spoken. They have universal health care, education, and universal basic guaranteed income. Basically, no crime and job boom. They take the southern part of this hemisphere over here, like down there in South America, Cuba, and then they're going to try, the Republicans try to tag that as socialism. So now they name their socialism. So now when Hispanics hear the term socialism, they think of down there and not a country like Switzerland. That's what true socialism is about.
Yeah.
I'm a socialist.
Switzerland is more self-described as democratic socialist. You're right.
That's right. That's right. And so they give it a black eye, and then they attack it. Reverend Al, I think something, I got like 3 good points I want to make real quick too. I think something is definitely in the mix with not J.B. Pritzker, but with Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin in regards to keeping Donald Trump in office. I think they are, people saying they got the right idea in regards to Donald Trump using the military around here. He's practicing. Now, he's also testing the obedience of his military. Are they going to follow his order? I think, don't be surprised, y'all, if, like with the Tomahawks, the Reverend Al Sharpton above earlier, don't be surprised if you see a mock war between us and Russia over this. I think a real war is going to jump off between us and North Korea, because if Vladimir Putin already laid the threat down, and we get Tomahawks to Krasinski over there in Ukraine, what do you think the best thing Vladimir Putin will do to retaliate? He's going to do something with North Korea towards us. In North Korea, they fire one missile towards us, we're going to obliterate them. Reverend Al, I think we need to be prepared. I think you already know, but y'all need to be prepared. We have not seen the worst that's to come. And last but not least, before I hop off, let me just say this. As a saved person, I'm no match when it comes to scriptures and understanding, or even trying to speak in regards to the mentality of God, the way Reverend Allen is. The man started at 4 years old. Lord have mercy. God bless him and us with him. But I'm going to tell you something. I didn't just pick no Bible up yesterday myself. I went to the discipleship program. And I'm going to tell y'all something like that. Reverend Allen, he has put the call out in regards to you black people that went and voted for this evil. Come on and explain this. Come on and explain that. That's different what I'm saying. I'm going to tell y'all just like this, and I don't think I speak by myself. I'm going to do an excelling here. As far as the overwhelming vast majority of us who are on the right side of the fence, like with Reverend Al Sharpton, you black Trump supporters, now y'all want to come on the air and try to pretend like y'all one of us and try to figure it out. I'm going to tell you something. I'm like Pam. We don't want to hear nothing y'all got to say. Now, no one's going to kick you off the air. We're not asking them now to kick you off the air. But if y'all think that we don't know and understand that y'all are traitors, y'all betrayed us, not only us, y'all betrayed this entire nation, y'all betrayed us culturally and spiritually. And for those who think you're going to be able to claim salvation under grace, when you get to the other side, I don't say anything wrong with it, feeling correct me. I'm going to tell you just like this. In so many words, God's going to let you know, because he done told us in scripture, those who support evil, you're going to get the same punishment that evil doing himself. So many, basically, God's going to tell you, I'm going to tell you like that, I'm saying from the heart. He's going to basically take, this is on my mind for the past 2 months. Who the heck do you think you're hoodwinking, flamming, bamboozling? No one who confess out of their mouth what you confess in regards to my son, his life, his mission, his death, his resurrection, truly believes in their heart what they confess, will turn around and just start supporting evil. Okay?
But I think that's what Pope Leo said. You can't. It is even in the Bible
that you cannot say, Lord, Lord, and then do not what I said. And what they're saying is absolutely antithetical to what they claim they be. I mean, you had a right to be what you want to be, but you don't have the right to say you something and do the opposite and expect people not to call you out.
Hello.
Absolutely.
Hello. So therefore, your confession, you gave a false confession. So your salvation under grace is not only granted, it's not only secured, but it's not even granted. Because you gave a false confession. Thank you, Reverend Al. Reverend, that's been on my heart for the past 2 months. And that didn't occur to me, what you just said about the Pope. It's basically saying the same thing. They got big surprises coming. So keep on thinking you saved, and you turned around and supported evil. No one who confesses their mouth, truly believe that their heart, will turn around and be a supporter of evil. You got a surprise coming. Thank you, Reverend Al.
All right, thank you.
Everyone have a great day now.
All right, thank you for your call. And let me go. O.G. Kelly's writing to Tricia. I remember when Tavis, I guess he's talking about Tavis Smiley, came for Reverend Al Sharpton, and Sharpton put him in his place on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. I remember that. You've been around a little while, O.G., because I think they got angry that I was supporting Obama, and he said something, and I come back at him. We've talked since then, but one thing about me, and Tavis and I have been friends, but if you come for me, you may win the fight, but they're going to have to wake you up in the hospital on the way to the emergency room now, because we going to fight. I ain't backing up off of that at all. And that's why I tell folks, it's better we have a nice, pleasant, off-the-record conversation. But you're going to jump on a microphone, it's on, because not that I'm that good, but I'm not going to take a position I don't believe in. I believed that Barack Obama was the best choice for us then. Did he do everything I wanted? No. Did he do everything that he could? I believe he did. I was in and out of there a lot. And 25 million people got health care, all kinds of stuff we got under Obama. If you took a shot, you know what it amazes me, OG, is all these people that had this analysis on Obama, where they at now that you got Trump in office, who is openly antithetical to all of us. And they ain't got to do my show, but to get on somebody's show. They ain't got to come to the march I call a march. Oh, that's right, they haven't called anything. So how are y'all all over TV and radio condemning Obama and showing up missing now? No, I mean on nobody's show. Or not on social media. Makes me wonder. What's this when we sing in church? My soul looks back and wonder. Let's take a break. Be right back. Let you think about that one. Keeping it real. That's what I do. Sharpton, that's my name. Be right back.
All over the world today, people are gathered in love vigils to celebrate the life of a man that taught the world how to love. People may be wondering why there's such an emotional outburst, but you would have to understand the journey of Michael to understand what he meant to all of us. For these that sit here as the Jackson family, a mother and father with 9 children that rose from a working class family in Gary, Indiana. They had nothing but a dream. No one believed in those days that these kind of dreams could come true. But they kept on believing, and Michael never let the world turn him around from his dreams. I first met Michael around 1970, Black Expo, Chicago, Illinois, Reverend Jesse Jackson, who stood by this family till now. And from that day as a cute kid to this moment, he never gave up dreaming. It was that dream that changed culture all over the world. When Michael started, it was a different world.
But because Michael kept going, because he didn't accept limitations, because he refused to let people decide his boundaries, he opened up the whole world. In the music world, he put on one glove, pulled his pants up, and broke down the color curtain, where now our videos are shown and magazines put us on the cover. It was Michael Jackson that brought blacks and whites and Asians and Latinos together. It was Michael Jackson that made us sing "We Are the World" and feed the hungry long before Live Aid. Because Michael Jackson kept going, he created a comfort level where people that felt they were separate became interconnected with his music. And it was that comfort level that kids from Japan and Ghana and France and Iowa and Pennsylvania got comfortable enough with each other to later it wasn't strange to us to watch Oprah on television. It wasn't strange to watch Tiger Woods golf. Those young kids grew up from being teenage, comfortable fans of Michael to being 40 years old and being comfortable to vote for a person of color to be the president of the United States of America. Michael did that. Michael made us love each other. Michael taught us to stand with each other. There are those that like to dig around mess, but millions around the world, we're going to uphold his message. It's not about mess, it's about his love message. As you climb up steep mountains, sometimes you scar your knee. Sometimes you break your skin, but don't focus on the scars. Focus on the journey. Michael beat him. Michael rose to the top. He outsang his cynics. He outdanced his doubters. He outperformed the pessimists. Every time he got knocked down, he got back up. Every time you counted him out, he came back in. Michael never stopped. Michael never stopped. Michael never stopped. I want to say to Mrs. Jackson and Joe Jackson, his sisters and brothers, we thank you for giving us someone that taught us love, someone that taught us hope. We want to thank you because we know it was your dream too. And we know that your heart is broken. I know you have some comfort from the letter from the President of the United States and Nelson Mandela, but this was your child. This was your brother. This was your cousin. Nothing will fill your heart's loss. But I hope the love that people are showing will make you know he didn't live in vain. And I want his 3 children to know, wasn't nothing strange about your daddy. It was strange what your daddy had to deal with. But he dealt with it. He dealt with it anyway. He dealt with it for us. So some came today, Mrs. Jackson, to say goodbye to Michael. I came to say thank you. Thank you because you never stopped. Thank you because you never gave up. Thank you because you never gave out. Thank you because you tore down our divisions. Thank you because you eradicated barriers. Thank you because you gave us hope. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. is a result of those that by law and later by enforcement would not deal with diversity, would not deal with including people of color, gender, sexual orientation, as well as disabled. And the conscious effort by government and the private sector to begin to equalize the opportunities of this country was something that makes it more humane and fair for all of us. To DEI, diversify, is not based on the lack of merit. We could not show our merit because we were accomplished conservatives that talk about we want a society based on merit. Well then, if it's based on merit, then why did you discriminate based on race and gender? Until they cut off a bunch of the population and then had merit between white males. That was what they meant, not merit. Let's have real merit, but let's also make up the ground that those of us with merit was not able to compete.
You're live, sir.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Keeping it real, Reverend Al Sharpton. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Twitter.com, The Rev Al. Or you can go to live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net and write me a message on the message board. And and you can see some of our videos during the commercials. They play videos they played when, like I said, when I was in my 20s, and Muhammad Ali and James Brown brought me on Tom Snyder shows supporting my youth work and civil rights work. They just played that. They just played me doing the eulogy that I did at Michael Jackson's funeral in 2013. Michael, huge funeral there in L.A. I came back and did his burial. They didn't let us video that. So they're doing all this my birthday week, birthday tomorrow. God bless me, do a lot of historic things. I was looking this morning, this statement I made at Rosa Parks' funeral. I don't think there's anyone greater in American history than Rosa Parks. And I was honored to speak at her funeral. Let's go back to the phones. Let me go to Andre J. in Chicago. Andre J., you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hey, good afternoon to you, Reverend, and to Brother Frank. I heard Brother Frank out there this morning. And I just want to say a couple of things. You know, people have a misunderstanding about socialism. And I believe that part of the problem is that they tie socialism to Fidel Castro and the civil rights crime. That's the only thing that I can see wrong with it, is they always talk about the wrong things that Fidel Castro did to people. Socialism itself, the social programs are a good thing, but somehow that needs to be clarified to the public. Lastly, Reverend, I say, you know, I'm a registered Democrat, and I'm always going to be a Democrat, and I follow Democrats. But to me, and all the time I've been looking, Rev, I haven't seen the Democrats address the Republican voters. They talk about the elected officials, the Republican elected officials, but they need to speak to the voters, not in a bad way. But I wish Hakeem Jeffries would take the opportunity when he's doing these interviews concerning the government shutdown, that he speak to those Republican voters and ask them to call their Republican representatives and tell them that they want the government to open up. And also remind them that he knows that they didn't elect Trump or the Republicans to do what they are doing. They thought they was going to get a better economy and gas would go down, food prices would go down. Instead, the opposite has happened. And they also need to remind them that, you know, this is their MO. They brought Doge in and they brought Elon Musk in and they cut all them jobs, but it didn't do nothing. All of that cutting they did and cost people jobs and still didn't balance the budget. And the Democrats and Hakeem Jeffries need to make Republicans own that. They are not pro-workers. You can tell by the way they behave that they don't care nothing about the working force. So I think it would be helpful if you know, because the media is not fair, take the opportunity, Hakeem Jeffries, when he go before that microphone on TV, reach out to the Republican voters and tell them, listen, call your representative, because I know some of y'all hurting too. Some of you Republicans got health care. Some of the Republicans need jobs. Y'all having issues. So call your elected officials and put pressure on them. Well, do you think that makes sense for him to ask the Republican voters to do that to their elected officials?
I mean, it makes sense. Whether or not a lot of them will do it is an open question, but it makes sense. And I think that if he lays out some of the ways that they themselves are suffering, as you just illuminated, I think that educates all of the public. So I think that as much as Hakeem, Jeffries, and for that matter, Chuck Schumer and them use the airtime they're getting, and certainly, you know, they do my shows, and they Hakeem's National Action Network member. They need to use it to educate the public, because it's not only the Republicans that need to understand what's going on. Some of the Democrats that didn't vote need to understand what position they are in, and they help put themselves in that position. And this is why we need to be able to take them out. But thank you for your call, Andre J. Let's go to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to the Word, WURD Radio, to Miss Washington. Miss Washington, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yes, and a good afternoon to you. I just wanted to let you know I didn't call to say anything profound, but I do enjoy listening to your program.
Well,
and all of your hosts, I just wanted, you're quite welcome. I just wanted to tell you, too, to enjoy your birthday tomorrow and that trip you're going to take to Martha's Vineyard for the weekend.
All right.
Because I know you don't take vacations. That's why I'm throwing that in there.
Yeah, well, I will be here this weekend working, doing the rally Saturday and trying to work Monday night. But it's a good thought. I appreciate the thought.
All right, no problem. I said I'd be amiss if I didn't call you, because I've been calling for the longest. So
well, I appreciate
it. I just hung in there today.
I appreciate it.
All right, no problem.
All right, you keep me in your prayer. Let me go to my real friend, my exercise buddy in Detroit, one of the great labor leaders on the ground in the country, Percy Johnson. Percy?
Brett Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday to you, man.
Thank you, sir.
Love you, man.
Love you back.
Appreciate all what you do, man. You know, it was you that really inspired me to be engaged like I am. When I found out that you were a year younger than me, and I was born in '53 in September 16th, but I was born in '53. You was born in '54.
Right.
When I looked at what you're doing, and I looked at what I was doing for the community, and I said I had to pick my game up. So it came for your inspiration, and it kind of helped lead me to what my calling is all about, is to be out here and serve and help people and encourage them and lift them up. But look here, I got to correct something, because when Dominique was on covering for you, I made a comment, and I need to straighten it out, because I gave out the wrong information about the Republican majority. So I mentioned that the Republicans have the majority in the House by 220 votes, but they have it by 219 votes. I want to correct that.
Right.
Then I made the statement that the Senate has the majority by 54 votes, and they have it by 53 votes. It's not 54.
Right.
It's 53. You know, and you know, I want to get
Yeah,
clarity.
it's
on
closer than people think, but it's still too far for us to be comfortable because they got a majority. It's a thin majority, but they have it.
Mm-hmm. But the statement that I did make, that this lie that they're putting out, that the Democrats are the cause of why they're not able to keep the government open because the Democrats are holding them up, I still stand with that, because they do have the votes to pass it in the House if they want to keep the federal government open, and in the Senate, even though they're saying they have to have 60 votes, they can change that rule to where the majority can carry the vote for them to be able to keep the government open. Now, am I right about that?
Yeah.
Because they have changed the rules before from 60 to make it 50, so where the majority will win over 51. Now, is that correct?
Yeah, they have done it. The question is whether they have enough to change the rules. And I'm not sure how many votes they need to change the rules, but they have done it, yes.
Yeah, but on that note, what I'm saying, if all their 53 of them do vote for that, then they can change it. So they do not need the Democrat vote in order to keep the government open. They have the majority, and they have the majority. They have the trifecta, and what the trifecta is. Now, listeners need to understand that too, because that's what I was really pointing out, how we need to be more civically understanding how the system works. But seeing how the Republicans have the majority in the House, the Senate, and they have a president that will vote their way, because he's a Republican, and they can pass their agenda. And not only that, they can also fix our health care to where it can benefit everybody instead of hurting everybody, because they have the votes to make it better instead of making it worse. They have the majority votes to pass anything. So there's no bill, there's no law in place that cannot be changed.
Yeah, and see, the reality of what you're saying is so important. If they had 53 votes to say open the government and we're going forward, if they would go ahead and just deal with saying that we are not going to do what has been proposed about reducing health care, the Democrats would vote with them. We're talking about health care for everybody, Republican and Democrat. They're hurting their people. The Affordable Care Act is used as much or more in red states than in blue states. They are holding up their own people, which is why I agreed with the caller that you got to explain. He was saying that Andre J was saying that Hakeem and them need to be saying that these people are not voting against Democrats having health care. They're voting against y'all having health care.
Right.
That's what we need to make clear. But thank you and bless you. I'm great that you are in my life and I'm in yours. You're a great activist, labor leader, and all of that. And you and I are still young. Don't worry about it. Percy Johnson, we'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, right after this.
The fact of the matter is, Rosa Parks was not only the mother of the modern civil rights movement, she was the mother of this nation. Why would you say that, Sharpton? Because you called George Washington the father of the nation, but when he became father, we wasn't included in the nation. Women were not included in the nation. The first time we had a parent in this nation is when all of us was included, and Rosa Parks did that on December 1st, 1955. I heard somebody say Jim Crow is who she fought, and Jim Crow is still around. But Jim Crow is old. That's not who I'm
mindful of today. The problem is Jim Crow has sons. The one we got to battle is James Crow Jr. Esquire. He's a little more educated. He's a little slicker. He's a little more polished. But the results are the same. He doesn't put you in the back of the bus. He just puts referendums on the ballot to end affirmative action when you can't go to school. He doesn't call you a racial name. He just marginalizes your existence. He doesn't tell you that he's set against you. He sets up institutional racism, where you have a nation respond looking for weapons in Iraq that are not there, but can't see a hurricane in Louisiana that is there. James Crow Jr. Esquire. That's who we got to fight. And if we are to win, if we are to really memorialize Rosa Parks, she would tell us to do in the generation of his son what she and Dr. King did to his daddy. They didn't talk a fight, they fought the fight. They didn't show up at funerals, they showed up on the picket line and the march line and the jailhouse. It amazes me that we sit here acting like we don't have work to do. And that many of us in our own community are mocking her memory. They formed a movement when they had none of what we got. You realize that Dr. King and Dr. Abernathy and them formed a boycott after Rosa Parks, where people stayed off the bus for a year, went to rallies every night, and they never had email, never had a cell phone, never could go online. Here you got 2 cell phones in your pocket, emails, computers at the house, and can't even get a block association meeting together. We've got so much more that they gave us, and we're doing so much less with it. They went to vote when people were threatening their lives. Medgar Evers was shot dead in his driveway, left 3 children inside that never knew how it was to have a father in their adult years, died to give us the right to vote. Pregnant women marched through the streets of Birmingham. They sick police dogs on them to give us the right to vote. 4 little girls bombed in a church in Birmingham, Alabama to give us the right to vote. And here you are 40 years later in Detroit, Michigan. No dogs biting you, no bombs going off, no bullets, too lazy and ungrateful. Making mockery of her memory. Making mockery of her memory. Nobody should have to beg you to vote. Nobody should have to beg you to stand up and protect the rights that they died and suffered to give us. You can't take care of one thing on the ballot in Michigan when they had to change the laws of all 50 states. You complaining about one referendum when they did a whole revolution and never fired one shot. And then you turn it around on each other. Why do I want my daughters to visit that stone? Because I want them to know black women are not hoes. You have music companies
selling misogynist records to our children. Black womanhood was Rosa Parks sitting in dignity. She wasn't break dancing. She wasn't talking about pimp me out. She made the world respect her people. So I want to thank Reverend Jackson and Mrs. Jackson and others that taught us a little younger who Rosa was, and we got to pass that on. I want to challenge everybody here today that when we leave here, you ought to make a Rosa resolution. You ought to make one commitment in her name to yourself. That you're going to either join some organization or you're going to stand for some policy. You ought to make a Rosa resolution. You ought to resolve that you're going to do something that'll make a difference because we're here because she made a difference. Most people come and go and we never come to say goodbye because their hellos didn't mean anything to us. But we're here because she touched every one of us. And we need to make a Rosa resolution. I said to some of the young rappers the other day talking to me about, well, you get on us about calling women out their names. I said you need to come and know the story of a dignified woman. They make the excuse, Mayor Kilpatrick said, well, you know, we love Aretha and that generation, but we just kick it like we see it. We just mirrors that reflect what we see. But there's something strange about that. I use a mirror every morning. But I don't get up out the bed, hair all over my head, sleep around my eyes, slobber around my mouth, walk outside talking about I'm going to keep it real. Mirrors are not only to reflect what you see, mirrors are to correct what you see. You need to make a Rosa resolution that we're going to correct what we see. We're going to keep the fight going. And we're going to have James Crow Jr. Esquire know that we are the children of those that change the world. My Rosa resolution is they won't have no rest until we finish the fight. Wherever I see an injustice, I'm going to stand up. If I can't stand up, I'm going to speak out. And if I can't speak out, I'm going to do like a Rosa. I'm going to get me a chair and just sit in the way.
You're live.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Keeping It Real, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. And JT Challenger, our media head, that played he dug up, I said it on the air, and he went and found the eulogy I gave at Rosa Parks' funeral in 2005. That was 20 years ago, the Rosa Parks funeral in Detroit. And that was one of the honors of my life. Rosa Parks, the mother of the Civil Rights Movement, the mother of this nation, really. And I guess as you go around your birthday, you start thinking of the things, the good things that God bless you to do. And all of us had words that day. I thank God I was able to be a part of that. Let's go back to the phones, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Let me go to Spencer in Little Mountain, South Carolina. Spencer, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hello, Reverend Al.
Hi.
You know, I've been listening to, this morning on how things comes about. And one of the things I respect your show for, it gives the
caller and you a chance to exchange information, and the listeners, wherever they're at in America, they learn something. Okay, now I'm saying that now to bring something up because I think what I'm going to say may make you double think is the fact I called you to openly discuss the government shutdown weeks ago. But what you did was quickly got me off the air.
And I'll do it again. Whoa. I will do it again if you take too long. I got you off the air because you kept being repetitive, and there are other people that have to call in. So let us be respectful of other people as people are respectful for you and make way for you. So let's get to your point. Go ahead.
Okay, my point is this. The information I wanted to share through you to the radio audience
share it now.
Was the fact was some
share it now.
Well, that's just it. No, the shutdown didn't happen.
Right.
What I'm trying look, the information that was I thought was unique and we should spread it was before the shutdown. See, that's what's happening now. This shutdown now is going to bring out a lot of people that's basically blocking information. They're not sharing it.
Well, I'm asking you to share us the information.
It's already done happened now. From where I got.
Okay, so what I'm saying is the reason you and I quarrel on the air is you remind me I travel out. You take a long runway to take off, and it kills the segment. So if you've got some solutions or something you want to suggest, say that. If not, let me go on to the next call. Rather than complaining about you didn't get you get 7 minutes last time, because I cannot give any caller 7 minutes.
Well, no, I didn't know that's what I was getting because I'm really a fair person, mainly because, like I said, for 20-some years.
But you're eating up time. We've been talking 2 minutes now about your last time. Do you have something you want to suggest now, Spencer?
No. I wanted to make sure you understood when people call in, a lot of times, or either some of the few times, if you ask them then what's going on, what's happening, you will find out more for the radio audience. That's what your program
absolutely, but it's fair for them to respect other callers. We have a board full of callers.
Well, of course.
So wait a minute. There's like 6 minutes in between each commercial. If you take all of those 6 minutes, 2 people can't get on the air. Like we just wasted 3.5 minutes with you talking about a call that you made 2 weeks ago that you thought you should have got longer than the 5 minutes you got. Thank you for your call. I cannot do that. What I want people to do is the reason I do is 3 hours a day is to give people an opportunity. But you cannot act like what everybody else got to say don't matter, only what you got to say, and just keep talking and run me through commercials and all of that. That's not fair to other callers. Now, sometimes I let people talk through commercials because there may not be other callers on the board. But if I look up there and you got 5 or 6 people waiting, I'm cutting your time because I want everybody to have a chance to talk, just like you want to talk. Let's go to Mary in Seattle, Washington. Mary, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hey, Rev. You always keeping it real. I'm going to be brief. Happy birthday to you because I missed many of your birthdays. And I just wanted to say about your president. Mm-hmm. He has mental issues. I've been observing him a lot. I used to work. My last years I worked in Alzheimer's unit. The president has some mental issues people are not addressing. They don't notice. I noticed because I worked with the people before. That's what's wrong with him, but I don't understand why they don't want to bring it out. And people need to be aware and pay attention because he has mental issues. He has more issues that people don't realize, and I don't understand why they don't bring it out. But, Rev, I love you dearly, and I'll be glad when you finally come to Seattle, Washington.
I'll be glad to get there. All right, I will be promising that.
And I miss you talking to you, but I do always listen.
Last call for the break.
So you keep it real, and happy birthday, and have a great birthday.
Well, glad to hear your voice, and glad to know you're always listening. I always look for you on the board. I got others on the board, but let me take my break. We'll be right back. More Keeping It Real, Sharpton, coming back with Policy Day with attorney Jennifer Jones Austin. Be right back.
Joining James Brown, Muhammad Ali, and myself now from New York City is the Reverend Al Sharpton. And Mr. Brown, James, I'd like to ask you about this young man, how you came to meet him, and what the National Youth Movement, which he represents, is all about. Tell me something about
it. It's about teaching young kids the right way to go, and the things to be involved in education. Don't be a dropout, which is one thing I'm very much behind. Unless kids have guidance, they have no place to go. And the idea is to try to mold them. I mean, we think of anything, we think of it as a baby. And what we molded them to be is what it will be later on. He used to stand at my back door, and he believed in what I said, the Don't Be a Dropout program, and the fact of helping kids and giving them the right idol and the right image to go with, cleaning, grooming, and wanting to work, wanting to be something. I started as a kid, a juvenile delinquent, and everything. Had no model. And I was able to be a model for a young man like this. And what he turned out to be, he's a minister, and he preaches the right thing, and I'm for him 1,000%. I'm for everything he's about.
Mr. Sharpton, how national right now is the National Youth Movement? Is it something new? Has it been going on for a while? Do you have a stated number of members? Tell me something about it.
Well, we don't really get into a numbers game because that's been a trick that has been played for the last 20 years. What we're basically interested in doing is saying to young people of impoverished backgrounds that there are people like a Muhammad Ali and a James Brown that represents hope to us. Because these people, despite all of the social odds, despite the unemployment statistics, despite the lack of education in their day, were able to grow and be something that we can be proud of. A man like me didn't have a father at home, but I had a James Brown to look up to and would want to sing and dance like him, or Muhammad Ali, who I saw stand up and give away millions of dollars of stamps to the government so that I would have a right to come 10 or 20 years later and try to fight for my kids. So what we're saying is there are symbols and images that kids can look up to and not have to throw a brick through a window, but that can work by the sweat of their brow and succeed just like these two gentlemen did.
But considering the numbers of young kids today, and Rev, there are hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of kids who really are in hopeless and desperate situations, is it enough to just offer them an example?
You say hopeless, though. Not hopeless.
Well, let's say, to them, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids,
it's never hopeless. There's no such thing as hopeless. It's never hopeless. When I got 8 to 16 years for breaking and entering as a kid, because I was hungry, and here I am today, it's not hopeless. Just don't say hopeless. Then we're carving out. I don't believe in hopeless. Don't you think it's hope? If you believe in something, try it. No such hopeless. I don't believe in hopeless. We're not going to go with that. And I think he's not about teaching them how to get out and fight for themselves. That's what it's about. No, it's not hopeless. Everybody has a cause and everything, but everybody want to live. And I think living is what we're about. We're not going to teach dying. Hopeless is dying.
I agree with you 100%, James. But what I'm trying to ask here is simply saying, you too can be a James Brown or a Muhammad Ali. Is that enough to give a kid who's hungry, who doesn't know where his next meal is coming?
I'll say it.
Give him somewhere to go.
I think it's awful weak to tell a kid, you can be a James Brown, one of the greatest entertainers in the world, and me, one of the greatest fighters. And like you said, the hundreds of thousands of millions of kids that need a break. You can't have that many great people, but they can get educated. They can go to school. They can learn. I'd like to say one thing. We have crime today. It's a big problem. I think they took a national vote on what the people want the government to spend most of the money on, and crime was over national defense. Worrying about Russia, China, outside enemies, they're worrying about inside crime. We have crime today, all type prostitution, murder, exploitation, degradation, and wars of all kinds. And I'm going to tell you why everything's happening. And I think if you're intelligent, you agree with it. If we were riding an airplane and the two pilots died for some reason, is there anybody in this room that can go in the cockpit, pick up the radio, start working it, bring the plane in, depressurize it as it land, and make it, and late at night on a stormy day? You couldn't do it.
Right.
Well, but if you learn how to fly, or if they show you how to fly, you can. Since God made the world and God made us, He sent the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, sent Moses, Jesus, Noah, to show us how to run the world. And God left His laws. If we don't follow His laws, then we crash.
Let me say this, though, Mr. Snyder, in response to your question to Mr. Brown, Mr. Ali. Yes, it is enough to begin with showing them an example, because before you get to education, you need motivation. If you don't have motivation to get out of the bed, you won't make school or the party. And what we try to do by showing a James Brown or Muhammad Ali is not that you can be a great champion maybe like Ali or a great entertainer like James Brown, but if you use the same initiative that they did to make him get up 5 in the morning and run 10 miles and just have a dream and to come back 3 times and accomplish that dream, to have more hits than anybody in the world, even when the music world wouldn't give him credit for it in terms of a James Brown. If you had that initiative to keep working at whatever it is that you're going to do, you can succeed. And what we're saying to them is you may not reach the plateau of public prominence of them, but if you can reach the personal discipline and personal motivation of them, you can reach a plateau in your life. Because it's not about looking for a government handout, it's about looking for a way out, as James Brown said.
All right, and then how receptive are the young people that you tell this to?
Very receptive.
Really?
Very receptive. Very receptive. I think that people have misunderstood that most people of impoverished and depressed areas are not looking for the government to give them something. They just want a chance. I remember when I was a little boy, James Brown used to sing, I don't want nobody to give me nothing, just open the door, I'll get it myself. Well, that's all people want now is a chance. Let me get a piece of the action. Let me get a piece of the pie. Let me stand up on my own.
All right. At one man should have the major corporations, the government, should get behind him and push the programs that he's about.
Except maybe if he does it himself and gets grassroots support, it's better than having the government stick their nose in, because they have a way sometimes.
We're not talking about control.
Yeah.
We're not talking about control. We're talking about a way of start. You know, they have to start. If they fund Chrysler and fund all these different other things, they can fund a small man to get started. Then the private sector will join in. But let them help too. It should be.
Last thing. Somewhere along the line here tonight, we used a graphic saying long, hot summer. Are you in any way, I'm certain you're not predicting a long, hot summer. You're not predicting urban strife. You're not predicting disorder, anything like that.
Well, what I'm saying is, you know, at home you have an oven. There are flames on top of the oven, and then there's heat in the oven. We always discuss whether there'll be a flame on the top, and don't discuss it. There's already 600 degrees inside. I'm not concerned as much about a long, hot summer because it's been a long, hot winter. Yeah. People are unemployed.
Okay.
People are unemployed. People are getting their homes ripped off. Parents' pocketbooks being snatched. As Ali said, crime is at a highest rate it's ever been. So rather than us running around the streets looking for a brick, we should be looking at the fact the brick is already in most people's houses. How do we get the brick out of the house? How do we cool the long oven out? Let's not wait for the explosion and then just cut the flames off upstairs. Let's put the flame out inside. And the only way to do that is everybody to get up and work by the sweat of their brow in America and try to produce, be productive like these two gentlemen have been in their life against all odds. They came up in a world that was alien to them, and they made it. And we can make it if we have the same initiative they did.
Mr. Sharpton, it's been a pleasure to have you here tonight, and I've enjoyed meeting you very much. Thank you for coming by, and thank you, James Brown, for being with us again. Kent, thank you for being here tonight.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you are born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are, and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that called me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development
real, keeping it real,
his devotion to our movement.
I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and I already see on the board forensic accountants saying, "Hi, Mr. Sharpton, it's what he says, it's step up time." Y'all moved it off the board before I could read it. Happiness Donuts, he had a follow-up to that, but he said hi, and then he was saying it's good behavior time, I think is what he said. And good behavior time is because we bring on the CEO of the Protestant Welfare Agencies in New York and the vice chair of the National Board of National Action Network, Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin. How you doing, Jenny?
Well, sir, I'm sorry that I wasn't with you at the start. I had to raise some money, but I'm doing okay. Doing all right, sir.
Well, you always got to raise some money. Let me ask you, you have put through legislation, led campaigns to put through policies around racial inequities in the city of New York, in the state, and have lectured around it around the country, even brought it to Washington. How does the racial, economic, and social inequality factor in with this shutdown of the federal government?
Well, what's so tragic here is that because we begin with inequity, like before this shutdown even occurred, inequity as it shows up in our employment, blacks being nearly double the rate of those unemployed. It shows up in our wages. Black men and women earn significantly less for the jobs that they perform that are the equivalent of what white people are earning for the very same jobs. Because we have less income, we have less in savings, disproportionately so. And so what happens when you have persisting inequity, when you have a government shutdown, and you look at, let's just begin with jobs. When you look at the fact that black persons represent 14% of the federal workforce, but 18% of they represent 14% of American population, but 18% of the government workforce. We are going to be more devastatingly impacted by this shutdown.
Wait a minute. Let me ask a question. With 14% of the population, 18% of the federal workforce, which means that we're over-indexed in the workforce, and more of us depending on that. Okay, go ahead.
Right, and so when they shut the government down, and they have furloughs for people working in, let's say, Medicaid and Medicare. While Medicaid and Medicare aren't necessarily going to be cut off, the people performing those services are very often black persons. They may be furloughed. They may even be fired by Donald Trump. When it comes to programs like SNAP and supplemental Social Security, and when it comes to things like funding for women, infants, and children's programming, while the actual dollars that flow to people who need these services cannot be cut off under a government shutdown, the people who are performing these jobs may be furloughed, and very often they are us. When it comes to jobs like air traffic control, there was a push to have more people of color in those roles. When it comes to TSA, transportation security agents, many of us are in those roles. And so when you have a government shutdown, doesn't mean those services stop completely, but they start laying off people to do these, who do these jobs, or they put them on furlough, which means the money isn't flowing into our homes. Consequently, because we have been paid less, we don't have as much in savings. So if the money's not flowing into our homes, then we're going to have a hard time paying our rent, paying for childcare, paying for, for food and the like. We get impacted in devastating ways when you see things like this. Another thing to pay attention to, we very often need, money for our small businesses. Well, disrupted federal contracts that we may have, or a disruption in how they process small business loans. It's going to impact us all the more. Healthcare services, shutdown won't necessarily end your eligibility for Medicaid or Medicare funding, but it does impact the funds that flow to our hospitals. So we may see our emergency rooms swell up because there aren't enough people in there to actually care for individuals because the government has slowed down the funding to these institutions. And then now we're seeing what Donald Trump is doing with the government shutdown. You take New York as an example. He's freezing funds, as you've talked about, for infrastructure. Well, a lot of people who are performing the jobs in infrastructure, in contracting, are black and brown people. So again, we're impacted all the more. And let me tell you, it is actually unlawful for him to do that because Congress has already appropriated money for infrastructure projects. He doesn't have the right to just end that, but he's going to do whatever he can to try to stick it to us.
Yeah, and he does it because we did not vote in the numbers that would have not given him this trifecta. You got Supreme Court, you got the legislature, and you got the executive branch all under his control. And that is why we're going to have to be strategic and diligent and tenacious to fight this, because the balance of powers that the writers of the Constitution envision is not balanced when you have one man controlling the three divisions of government.
Not at all. This was never supposed to be this way. We were never to have a situation where the Supreme Court would just bow down to Trump and just allow him to do whatever he does, and some district court and circuit court judges as well. We were never to have a Congress where they would just do his bidding. Congress is there, unlike the Supreme Court, if we just want to stay with the division of powers and who puts people in places. While the president appoints Supreme Court justices, the people elect congresspersons. And so these congressional leaders and congresspersons should not be bowing down to Trump to do his bidding. They should be listening to the people. And you see across this country, even in Republican communities, congressional districts, people are angry about their Medicaid and their Medicare being cut. They're angry about SNAP being cut. They're angry about these issues, and they know it's going to impact them. But Trump and these Republicans don't care. They don't care because they're just there to do Trump's bidding. And so the people have to rise up. And I think when you talk about strategy, yes, we have to understand that black personally impacted by a government shutdown are disproportionately impacted by cuts to Medicaid and Medicare and SNAP, impacted by the healthcare subsidies under the Affordable Care Act, being cut off with this government shutdown and with, what is to happen. The Democrats were trying to make sure that those subsidies weren't ended as part of averting the shutdown. we're going to be disproportionately impacted. But white Americans in greater numbers are going to be impacted negatively by this. So we have to make sure as part of our strategy that they understand that they're not getting a pass here. They're not getting a pass at all. It's not simply a black and brown issue. We're going to hurt more and more immediately, but this is going to hurt everybody.
Let's go to Jay in Pennsylvania. Jay.
Good afternoon, everyone.
You got to talk louder. We can't hear you.
I said, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, just had a quick question for you. I've been noticing.
You got to speak up. For some reason, you're coming in low.
Could you hear me better?
Yes.
Okay. I've been noticing the same messaging for over 6 months, and it's, to me, when the Republicans come out with a sledgehammer, the Democrats are coming out with like a piece of toilet tissue. I don't understand why all the governors don't get together, somebody pull some money and put commercials nonstop in radio ads about what they did and what the Republican governors are not doing and what Trump is doing illegal. I don't understand why they just won't do it. They're like playing patty cake while these guys are going to try to knock you out. It's like, it has to stop. I don't understand it. I mean, I know you guys get to talk to some of these leaders, and the people that didn't vote are the people they should be trying to reach, and they're not even doing that. That's why Harris lost the election, the non-voters. And I don't see how King, Jeffries, or Schumer doing anything besides, well, he's hitting below the belt. Well, you hit below the belt. The only way you are going to win is unless you hit below the belt and reach some of these people that are not listening. He's going to do things that are worse than he's doing now, and it's getting scary with this health crisis, and it's going to affect mostly people in those states that the states down south, and they're not even doing nothing about that. They have to do something. It's frustrating to talk to you guys on the phone and conversations, and nothing's being done. Like the Jasmine Crockett's and people like her, the only one that seem to want to say something. The rest of them, I don't hear anything from none of them. So I'm just concerned.
So what is it that you want to hear from them?
I want to hear more commercials, radio ads, specifically.
Yeah, but they got to pay for them. They have to pay for them.
Well, I know that's what I'm saying. All these Hollywood millionaires that are going to these fundraisers, why don't they just all put in like some money and put these commercials on?
All right.
Or radio ads.
All right. Thank you for your call. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. More of you on the phones. Keeping it real. Sharpton, Jones, Austin. Be right back. Do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5
from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited too. Turn on WBLS, 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you. And if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live. 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized. Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go back to the phone. Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin is. Every day, Monday through Friday, I do 3 hours a day on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. I do 1 hour on Sunday mornings with Reverend Al Sharpton. And I'm live on radio and TV with the Saturday Action Rally. 7 days a week, I talk to our people, hear from them, to call in. I'm sick and tired of people talking for people that they don't talk to. So go on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Listen to my show, call in, express your opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But let's start talking to each other rather than about each other and lecturing at each other. Let's keep it real with Sharpton. Oh.
I got a Tony.
You got it? My daughter won a Tony Award.
That's crazy.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
With the stuff that was going on in Brooklyn at that time, at Howard Beach. You were right there.
He had in one of the early movies, he had my name. Then he put me in Malcolm, and I wasn't even old enough to know Malcolm. So we've been through it all.
For those who see Malcolm X, it's 3 hours. But fast forward to the scene with yourself, Bobby Seale,
right? Bobby Seale, Denzel, and me.
Yeah,
Denzel was on the set.
Now let me ask a question. What was your weight on that scene?
I brought about 270. I was bigger then.
Yeah.
Still had the hair, man.
Yeah, you had the head on.
Yeah, it was
Denzel, yourself, and Bobby Seale.
Yeah, all in one scene.
And also, there was no cut, so we went like this.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Only Spike could have done that.
It's my brother right here.
My baby.
Brooklyn's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn's in the house.
BK.
We have a short so we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in.
Yes, sir. We want to
with gold. Yeah, we was here.
They were on the plantation.
Right, our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses.
Sir, it's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you been?
Doing fine. Good.
Right, last time. And we,
Alexander Sharpton. How many slaves were staying there?
I have no idea.
This is where they would have a slave.
Yeah, that's when exactly. That was exactly.
The two people that most influenced my life were from South Carolina, James and Jesse. Jesse right up the road. I went for his mother's funeral. Jesse walked into my mother's kitchen.
Wow.
To South Carolina. That's the balance of my life, James.
Yeah.
Civil rights, shoulders.
But also where your people from too.
Literally.
Yeah, right.
And when I knew Jesse was from James, I started president.
Yeah.
And James had died before I knew about him in South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah. James died December 25th. He died Christmas Day. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin is our co-host. Let me go back to the phones and to our message board. I'm seeing on our message board, the Democracy.Fund says to O.G. Kelly, I was once a Hassan Piker fan, but then I realized he's every bit as toxic as Rogan and Theo Vaughn. Just watch him joke with Theo about how, quote, racism used to be so easy. Wow, wow. And they're saying it out loud. One thing you can say about Trump is he says out loud what he's talking about. When he went through that thing of we going to bring the country back to merit, when he was addressing the military officers the other day, that's about as blatant as you can get, because he's talking about when it was merit for white men, when women, blacks, and others were not considered. That's what he's talking about. Let's go to Rick in Atlanta, Georgia. Rick, you on Keeping It Real with Sharpton and Jones Austin.
Black Power. Good afternoon, family. How are you?
Good afternoon.
I wanted to talk to the listening audience about the shutdown, and I wanted to put it in a Pan-African perspective, because some of the callers have been very astute in noticing the disproportionate number of African Americans in the government workforce. And with the Pan-Africanists support health care. Let's get that straight. We're not supporting a shutdown. We support American health care. And the problem is, we understand that it's going to take sacrifice. Okay? And I know when you talk about those families, one of the situations is we become so nonviolent, we become non-action. Dr. King, I'm calling from Georgia, it's well known. Dr. King didn't just boycott the buses, he got alternative rides for the people going to work. There was an infrastructure during the Montgomery boycott. Westmore got on TV and came out in a divisive press conference talking about the blacks and the people who will be affected by the budget, by the shutdown. That's irresponsible. We know there's going to be sacrifice. We're in a long-term struggle against a man. And let me, I know I don't take notes, I just speak extemporaneously. But we're in a long-term struggle against a gentleman. And those of you who have confidence in the American system, we need to make the system work. The numbers are with the Democratic Party to hold him and make sanity come back to the Congress. Once we have sanity in the Congress, we can get his attention in the White House. But if we don't allow this process to play out, and we don't allow the Democrats to stand up for something, I'm glad they found something they can mobilize around.
Well, what do you think that Westmore's statement was irresponsible?
I say we need to get behind health care. I understand the sacrifice. It's been on my heart all night, Ralph. How do I address the families that are going to be affected? I tell you, the first thing, and any of your white collars will understand.
No, you're not answering my question. No, you're not answering my question. You're not answering my question. You made a statement that what Westmore said was irresponsible. I'm asking you, what did he say that was irresponsible? I understand about health care. We agree on that. What did he say that you charged him with being irresponsible?
It is irresponsible to exploit the suffering of the government workers as opposed to concentrating on the agenda of getting health care for America and protecting the American
What
health care.
isn't part of what he's saying is that by doing this to the American workers and shutting down, the fight is around the Democrats want health care involved? How's that being irresponsible?
Okay. If they don't fight for something, why did you believe in go along to get along politics?
Well, no. You can't make a statement on national radio saying a guy made something irresponsible, and then when I asked you what did he say irresponsible, you said, well, he addressed the shutdown, but we ought to be dealing with health care. He made a statement about the workers that are losing because of health care. Part of the problem is we nitpick and attack each other and become more divisive than we need to. I agree with everything you said, but I don't understand why you got to attack the only black governor in the country to say it. I don't understand that.
Okay, I will back down.
I'm not asking you to back down. I was really trying to find out what he said, because I watched everything he said, and I didn't see anything that he said that was irresponsible. Now, I've seen things that maybe I would have rathered him include, but it's not irresponsible what he said.
May I ask a question?
Perhaps a poor choice of words, but I'm insisting that the fight for health care is more important than the individual fight for the government continuing.
I agree with that.
We have a chance to shift the tax burden off of the poor and working class if we can stand up and mobilize the base of the Democratic Party.
I totally agree with that.
If they don't stand up for something, okay then.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Thank you for your call. Go ahead, Jenny. You was going to say something.
What I was curious about was whether or not he was challenging Governor Moore, because Governor Moore said that he was not going to just stand idly by and let the federal workers who live in Maryland go without funds, go without their jobs and their funds. And so he was exploring ways of protecting the workers who live in Maryland who will be without a paycheck.
Yeah, well,
Governor
Moore,
he kept talking about
Governor Moore did say that.
Did
and I gave the caller the opportunity to say if that was what he was saying, but he didn't say that. So I'm not going put words in his mouth, but that is what the governor said.
Right.
But what I'm saying is the governor.
And that's okay.
And what I'm saying is that if with the governor saying that does not excuse the fact that the caller's right, that the problem of health care. But it's both and. To say that what he said is irresponsible is to attack what he said. What he said is right and health care is right. It's not either or.
That's right.
But to say that he's irresponsible is to attack what he said. And that's why I wanted to clarify that. Because you got people listening all over the country saying, oh, Westmore was irresponsible. Not irresponsible for him to say, I'm going to find a way to pay my people. Let's take a break.
Not at all.
We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, Jones, Austin. Be right back.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2020.
What do we want? What do we want? We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom, let my people go, go. We never shine, never shade. Give me a papa glory, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water, children.
Stop telling yourself you're not confident of what you could do. When people with half your skills and a quarter of your talent have gone on to create big waves in life, if you look at them and you know you're more gifted than them, then what is your problem? You are looking for someone to come and drag you into success. You've got to use what you have, which is, in my judgment, more skillful than others I've known in your areas. Use that and believe in that, and your confidence will build up as you get going and start doing. And don't chase the spotlight. Sharpen your skills. Live in your purpose. And you'll get so good the spotlight will be chasing you. Be so good they can't help but talk about you and put the spotlight on you. You don't get your energy from chasing the spotlight. You get your energy by chasing your purpose. The spotlight and other adulation will come with it. Have a great day. I had a thought this morning that I wanted to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talent in my own unique way and let me do things on my own. because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones, and too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability.
Democratic presidential candidate, Reverend Al Sharpton.
Thank you. Tonight, I want to address my remarks in two parts. One, I'm honored to address the delegates here. Last Friday, I had the experience in Detroit of hearing President George Bush make a speech. And in the speech, he asked certain questions. I hope he's watching tonight. I would like to answer your questions, Mr. President. To our chairman, our delegates, and all that are assembled, we're honored and glad to be here tonight. I'm glad to be joined by supporters and friends from around the country. I'm glad to be joined by my family, Kathy, Dominique, who will be 18, and Ashley. We are here 282 years after, right here in Boston, we fought to establish the freedoms of America. The first person to die in the Revolutionary War is buried not far from here, a black man from Barbados named Crispus Attucks. 40 years ago,
You're live.
Keeping
it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin is our co-host. Don't forget, Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. Live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturday and Sunday. And I'm already getting some of those in the middle of this shutdown. How it impacts, got a couple of governors, some members of Congress, and whatever state we're at, Saturday and Sunday we'll be on. And we'll be dealing with the issues of military in certain cities and what this means in terms of your health care and other things that will hit you in your homes. Make sure you watch it. I'm going to have the decision makers on. I don't just waste time. I want the people that's in the room so I can question them and make them answer the direct questions. Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5, both Saturday evening and Sunday evening. You in the tri-state area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally. We will be there this Saturday. This Saturday is my birthday weekend, and we'll be there 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the House of Justice in Harlem, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. If you're not in the New York area, you can watch it live on Impact Television, or you can go to our live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. And Monday night is the National Action Network's Triumph Awards. And that's our cultural awards. We stop every year. We've honored people that have made a cultural impact on this country and on our communities. And the giants have been there, everybody from Denzel Washington to you name them, have Spike Lee, others have been honored. This year we are honoring, and they will be present to get their honor. Kenneth Babyface Edmonds, Babyface will be there Monday night. Stephanie Mills will be there with us Monday night. Ari Melba, host of The Beat on MSNBC. He does that, I think, fantastic blend of hip-hop and politics. He'll be honored. He'll be there. Chesley Maddox Dorsey, who keeps black ownership of our urban networks alive. She'll be there. And gospel great Vincent Bohannon will be the honorees. And, of course, we'll do a little of my birthday celebration there as well. Tickets are free, but you cannot, I repeat, cannot get in without a ticket. There are no tickets at the door. You have to go in advance. Right now, go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can call the toll-free number at 1-877-626-4651, 1-877-626-4651, and secure your tickets now, and they will tell you where to pick them up before Monday. Do not come Monday without a ticket saying I couldn't get through, or I didn't know, or I went to school with Reverend Al 40 years ago. They will not let you on the premises. Please, let's have an orderly, as we have had every year, Triumph Awards. All right, Jenny, let's go to the phones. It's Policy Day. Todd from Cleveland, Ohio, WERE. Todd, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and Jones Austin.
Nobody gets in late and went to school with you 40 years ago? What about 39 years ago? Can they come in late?
No.
Can they do it?
No, not without a ticket.
Okay. All right, so October 1st, Jennifer. October 3rd, you. Hope you celebrate your lives. Be conscious, be calculating, be correct. And when you're not correct, at least be accountable to yourself for not doing so. And examine the previous year and be grateful that you got the next year, okay? So that's to the two of y'all.
Amen.
Yeah, and you're correct. Jennifer's birthday was yesterday. I posted on Instagram, and the only thing I don't understand is all of the photos that our photo department used her down through the years. She has not aged at all. The photos of yesterday look like the photos of 20 years ago.
With no photo touching.
No, they didn't
I saw her on
photo
your
touch.
show I saw her on your broadcast about a month ago. She holding up. Married life is treating you well, Jennifer. And I assume your gene line is helping you too. So
I got an 86-year-old mother in stilettos.
That's not healthy. To tell her don't be walking around stilettos. But here's what I'm not clear on. I don't know how many people work. There's 2.8 million people that work in the military. I don't know how many people are employed in total by the federal government. So when I listen to you say 18% of the federal workforce, I know very close to 20% of the military is black, but I don't know about the civilian workforce to really kind of assess how much that's really going to be affecting black people, the shutdown. And we should know, for the purpose of people that want to know, that although we're in a shutdown and people are working for free at this point, it really depends on how soon they solve this as to how much it's going to really matter. Because they've been paid already for the first part of the month. And the next pay period is they don't get paid again to the 15th. So this may be settled before the 10th.
And it may not.
Still be caught up.
And it may
That's
not.
True too.
The last shutdown,
That's
Trump was president, it lasted longer than 2 weeks.
That's true too.
Yeah.
I'm saying consider both possibilities and also consider the probability.
Well, why don't we consider the possibilities on your income? So why don't we just say, we're going to shut you down, Todd, and you might get your money in 2 weeks, and you may not. Let's just see what happens. That's not great stability, as well as the services that some of these services are shut down. That I outlined when we started. So it's not a painless kind of political maneuver at all.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And the larger problem to me is the arguments that were made for and against it. I watched J.D. Vance this morning. I don't know if he was speaking this morning or if it was a videotape from yesterday, and he was talking about this happened because the Democrats wanted $1 billion to give illegal immigrants health insurance,
Which is a lie.
I don't.
No,
They don't get it now. They don't get health insurance now through the federal government, and there was nothing that they introduced to suggest that they wanted illegal immigrants to get.
No, illegal immigrants by law cannot get Medicaid or Medicare and don't get health. That's absolutely a lie.
That's right.
And nobody called him on it. I was waiting for somebody to call him on it, and nobody did. But that's his nature. So I have a question for the two of you because we were talking about it last week. Did you have an opportunity to go back and look at that September 15th judiciary hearing where I referenced Jasmine Crockett, Hank Johnson, the congressman from Maryland, and the congressman from Washington, and how they spoke up about 400 military lawyers to be introduced as immigration judges?
Right.
Is real stuff. Did you have a chance to go back and look over it?
I did take a look at it. And I had a better appreciation, and I believe we're on the same page. Military lawyers are not trained and well versed in immigration law. I have a good friend who's an immigration judge, and the preparation that she undertook.
That's the one from North Carolina.
Yes, the work that she undertook to actually become an immigration lawyer and then an immigration judge. Years and years and years of practice. Immigration law is not just textbook law. It's nuanced, and there are a lot of particulars around it, and very often you've got to also bring in elements of international. You need to understand international relations and places where they're coming from and the issues in those communities, and so it's not a slam dunk. He did this, as I said last time, because in part he was firing people, he was firing judges, and he wants people who he believes are, wedded and indebted to him. You got a lot of these lawyers in the military who want to, they want to, like many people, advance in their careers. So what do you think they're going to do when they get in there and they start handling these cases? They're going to, exactly. Straight up to, whatever Donald Trump wants, Donald Trump gets. All judges, immigration or otherwise, are supposed to be impartial, and they're supposed to be advancing the law, not the policy whims of a president, but the law. And so that's what we're going to see here. And I'll just quickly say to you on your point about where black persons are working, where they're concentrating government. Yes, we see many people in the military, but we also have a lot of black persons who work disproportionately in housing and urban development, many who work in the Department of Education, and a lot of them have already been laid off, but then sent to those that weren't were sent to other agencies. We see a lot in Veterans Affairs, and so we also see a lot, and you've talked about this in the past, Todd, in the Postal Service.
184,000 black.
Yeah. And so this is, they are going to be impacted by this.
Well, not in the Postal Service.
I'm saying the others. I'm saying
right. As a matter of them being employees in the Postal Service, it's not going to affect them but Postal Service employees have spouses that work in the federal government that aren't Postal Service workers. So,
that's true. That's very true.
It's definitely problematic, and it more than just looks bad to the citizenry that the Congress has not fixed this matter. It's neither heavily weighted on the Republicans or the Democrats. It's more heavily weighted on them as a group, that this is a basic part of their employment responsibilities, and it keeps coming up as a problem that in multiple administrations have been facing at the last minute. It's concerning. It's definitely concerning. I still think, at base, in military lawyers being introduced as immigration judges is not a bad idea at base. But it's just like you said, Jenny, if you're not going to train them and give them the extensive training that they need, which is more than a couple of weeks, for sure, then you're causing a problem. You're causing a constitutional problem that's adding on to the constitutional problems that you've already caused through your administration.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me there should be some way, and I'm guessing in a short period of time, it seems to me there should be some way that the Congress could say, without Republican majority necessarily, block this. Is there a way?
I don't think you can do it. I don't think you can do it out the majority. You can't block something with a minority vote. But thank you for your call. Let me get to Carl in Palm Beach, Florida. Carl, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. Is Carl there? Carl's not there. All right, thank you for your call, Carl. You should have been on the phone. Let me say, Jenny, that it is imperative that we understand, and I appreciate what the call from Todd was, but it's imperative people understand the consequences of not having a Congress that where the Senate and the House are now majority Republican. There's slight margins, but they're majority, and you cannot pass certain things without a majority. Period. End of story. And you need more than that on some things. You need like 2/3 vote in the Senate, which is why votes count. But it's also why, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on this weekend on Politics Nation, which is why they are strategically trying to redraw these lines, because they know that if the lines stay as they are, they could lose the majority, and we could reverse a lot of the things they're doing, and we have a check and balance on President Trump, and that's what the system was designed to do in the first place. All right, I got to go. Let me thank Attorney Jennifer Jones-Austin. Let me thank all of you that called in, listened in, you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. I'll talk to you tomorrow.